The Premier League is big business with millions of pounds being spent on transfer fees and player wages as 20 teams compete to climb the table. There will always be a huge difference between the high earners and the more modest squad members at a club, but new research has shown just who is under and overpaid in the top flight. TheSportsman.com have conducted a study analyzing the players who have been paid most and least per minute of Premier League action so far this season. By dividing a player's contract earnings by the amount of pitch time they have seen, subtracting any wages accrued while out injured, it is easy to see who is justifying their money and who is not. Chelsea have 3 defenders among the top 10 highest paid players per minute, which is sure to anger fans after recent poor performances. Victor Moses reportedly earned £75,000 a week before his loan move to Fenerbahce, but only played 26 minutes in the Premier League. Zappacosta has been pulling in £101,111 for every 60 seconds on the pitch, while Gary Cahill is even more overpaid, and Danny Drinkwater has picked up £2 million without playing a single minute, having been frozen out by Sarri. On the other hand, Cesar Azpilicueta is earning his keep with just £1,000 per minute of top-flight action, but which player earns just £38 per minute and who pulls in £630,000? Data collected from August 10 to February 11 lowest paid players per minute of Premier League action by Club 20. Chelsea, Cesar Azpilicueta, £1,000 per minute, earns £90,000 a week, played 23-40 minutes in the Premier League, 19. Tottenham Hotspur, Harry Winks, £916 per minute, earns £50,000 a week, played 1,419 minutes in the Premier League, 18. Manchester United, Marcus Rashford, £767 per minute, earns £45,000 a week, played 1,525 minutes in the Premier League, 17. Manchester City, Ederson, £695 per minute, earns £65,000 a week, played 2,430 minutes in the Premier League, 16. Arsenal, Matteo Guendouzi, £688 per minute, earns £40,000 a week, played 1,556 minutes in the Premier League, 15. Everton, Jonjoe Kenny, £555 per minute, earns £15,000 a week, played 703 minutes in the Premier League, 14. Liverpool, Joe Gomez, £487 per minute, earns £30,000 a week, played 1,048 minutes in the Premier League, 13. Southampton, Jan Bednarek, £485 per minute, earns £20,000 a week, played 1,071 minutes in the Premier League, 12. Newcastle United, DeAndre Yedlin, £385 per minute, earns £30,000 a week, played 2,025 minutes in the Premier League, 11. Leicester City, Daniel Amartey, £360 per minute, earns £21,000 a week, played 641 minutes in the Premier League, 10. Brighton and Hove Albion, Gaetan Bong, £339 per minute, earns £20,000 a week, played 1,535 minutes in the Premier League, 9. Burnley, Charlie Taylor, £301 per minute, earns £25,000 a week, played 2,160 minutes in the Premier League, 8. Bournemouth, David Brooks, £300 per minute, earns £20,000 a week, played 1,598 minutes in the Premier League, 7. Watford, Craig Cathcar, £267 per minute, earns £23,077 a week, played 2,243 minutes in the Premier League. 6. Huddersfield Town, Philip Billing, £204 per minute, earns £15,000 a week, played 1910 minutes in the Premier League. 5. Crystal Palace, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, £174 per minute, earns £15,000 a week, played 22:35 minutes in the Premier League. 4. Cardiff City, Sol Bamba, £162 per minute, earns £14,000 a week, played 22:50 minutes in the Premier League. 3. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Matt Doherty, £117 per minute, earns £10,000 a week, played 22:19 minutes in the Premier League. 2. Fulham, Dennis Odoi, £109 per minute, earns £8,900 a week, played 21:15 minutes in the Premier League. 1. West Ham United, Declan Rice, £38 per minute, earned £3,000 a week up until December 28, played 26 minutes in the Premier League. Highest paid players per minute of Premier League action by Club 20. Brighton and Hove Albion, Florin Andon, £1,948 per minute, earns £40,000 a week, played 534 minutes in the Premier League. 19. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Leander Dendincker, £1,949 per minute, earns £37,923 a week, played 506 minutes in the Premier League. 18. Newcastle United, Yoshinori Muto, £2,560 per minute, earns £54,000 a week, played 615 minutes in the Premier League. 17. West Ham United, Lucas Perez, £5,376 per minute, earns £80,000 a week, played 372 minutes in the Premier League. 16. Fulham, Fabry, £6,500 per minute, earns £45,000 a week, played 180 minutes in the Premier League. 15. Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne, £6,530 per minute, earns £350,000 a week, played 536 minutes in the Premier League. 14. Huddersfield Town, Colin Quainer, £9,081 per minute, earns £16,000 a week, played 37 minutes in the Premier League. 13. Manchester United, Alexis Sanchez, £10,813 per minute, earns £350,000 a week, played 615 minutes in the Premier League. 12. Cardiff City, Loic Damer, £11,785 per minute, earns £9,519 a week, played 21 minutes in the Premier League. 11. Liverpool, Daniel Sturridge, £12,381 per minute, earns £130,000 a week, played 273 minutes in the Premier League. 10. Burnley, Ben Gibson, £16,508 per minute, earns £40,000 a week, played 63 minutes in the Premier League. 9. Everton, Phil Jagielka, £16,667 per minute, earns £50,000 a week, played 54 minutes in the Premier League. 8. Leicester City, Adrian Silva, £22,727 per minute, earned £80,000 a week, played 88 minutes in the Premier League. 7. Arsenal, Carl Jenkinson, £23,226 per minute, earns £45,000 a week, played 31 minutes in the Premier League. 6. Southampton, Sam Gallagher, £50,000 per minute, earns £40,000 a week, played 8 minutes in the Premier League. 5. Watford, Miguel Britos, £50,000 per minute, earns £25,000 a week, played 13 minutes in the Premier League. 4. Bournemouth, Jermaine Defoe, £98,759 per minute, earned £103,462 a week, played 22 minutes in the Premier League. 3. Chelsea, Gary Cahill, £123,810 per minute, earns £100,000 a week, played 21 minutes in the Premier League. 2. Tottenham Hotspur, Georgia's Kevin N'Koudou, £218,750 per minute, earned £35,000 a week, played 4 minutes in the Premier League. 1. Crystal Palace, Pape Sauer, £630,000 per minute, earns £30,000 a week, played 1 minute in the Premier League.